to McElroy's Motors, and in today's video you are joining me in Streetsboro, Ohio as I just left my commercial printing company with some updates about our road trip that we have planned for this fall. Before I do give any of the updates regarding our road trip, I would like to share a few updates regarding Tallulah as well as myself. It has been 8 years since I graduated high school, and it makes me feel really old. It makes me feel so old, in fact, that I'm going to need some Just For Men 50 Plus at some point in my life. But as for the Ford Taurus, Tallulah, she's doing absolutely perfectly. We've covered over 1,500 miles in her already since I purchased her not even 3 weeks ago, and she's been holding up just as sweetly and just as reliably as she ever has. Now it's time to talk about the road trip that we have planned, and it's quite an extensive one because whenever I go to Washington, D.C. every year for the annual Parade of Trabants that they have at the International Spy Museum, I'm usually gone for maybe 2 or 3 days at most. Except when I went in 2023, I was gone for 5 days because my fiance at the time, she wanted to not only go to the Spy Museum, but she also wanted to check out the Hershey Chocolate World in Hershey, Pennsylvania. So we had a little bit of a time out there. Plus we stopped by Intercourse, Pennsylvania as well, which was absolutely fantastic. So let's go on and talk about this amazing, extravagant, and above all else, awesome road trip that I have planned, because not only is it going to cover 2,000 miles and cover roughly 7 to 8 days or so, but it's going to be going to places that I have never been to or haven't been to in years and years. So our starting point will be Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio, at my brother's apartment, and we will be going from there to the America on Wheels Museum in Allentown, Pennsylvania. That is a bucket list place of mine, similar to the Auburn Cord Duesenberg Automobile Museum in Auburn, Indiana, that I went to earlier this year. So I am very much looking forward to that. And then after we leave that museum, we will be having lunch in a state I have never been to, the first state. We'll have lunch in the city of Wilmington in Delaware. From having lunch in the first state, we will be meeting the Trabant owners for the annual Parade of Trabants in Washington, D.C. Whether they choose to meet up in Maryland or Virginia for their hotel is still undecided and still will be to be announced, but the overall concept is the same. So we will be going from Wilmington, Delaware to wherever they're meeting at. And then from there we'll be in for the night, and then we'll be going to the annual Parade of Trabants held by the International Spy Museum in Washington, D.C. I'll be there for 6 hours, and overall it should be a great time. I'm looking forward to this year because it celebrates the 35th anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall. After the Trabant show, we will be having dinner with the Trabant enthusiasts, and then we'll be in for another night at that same hotel, and then go sightseeing around D.C. for the next 2 days. And after the sightseeing on the second day, it will be a drive from Washington, D.C. to Christiansburg, Virginia. Christiansburg, Virginia is home to JDM Heaven. It is home to Duncan Imports, the largest dealership in the United States that specializes in importing Japanese domestic market vehicles. And that is a place, again, I wanted to go on my bucket list. Plus, Brendan, my brother, always wanted to drive a right-hand drive Japanese export vehicle. So, with that being a similar dream to mine, I can guarantee you that'll be something we're both looking forward to. We'll be staying just one night in Christiansburg, and then we'll be making our way to our next hotel in Nashville, Tennessee. Nashville is home to the Lane Motor Museum, and I've been in touch with Jeff Lane, the owner, and it is a place that is filled to the absolute brim with weird, unique cars that I am definitely into. Cars that are just flat out insane, flat out unusual, and above all else, rare, interesting, and very cool. So that is definitely a place I want to visit at some point. Plus, it will give me a chance to possibly drive the world's smallest production car. Since we'll be staying in Nashville for 2 nights, we will be also visiting some towns in the local area. One of the towns that Brendan wants to visit is 10 Mile, Tennessee, a very small, pretty much uninhabited community located just outside Athens, because apparently he has some friends out there, which he has not seen in quite a few years. So we'll be visiting them as well. Plus, I will be visiting my hometown of Dalton, Georgia, which is something I have not seen since I was in diapers. I am definitely looking forward to that. And since we'll be close to the Alabama border, we'll also be paying a visit to Alabama to visit the Pisgah Gorge, which is something that is not necessarily on my bucket list, but I've never been to Alabama, so I just might as well check that off the list. My brother has told me that besides the Lane Motor Museum, Nashville really doesn't have anything that makes it stand out from the crowd, but I bet you there's something out there that does. Maybe the food, maybe some restaurants, I don't know, but either way, I've always wanted to go to Nashville. But he did tell me if you really want to go to someplace cool, check out Memphis. So after our night in Nashville, we're going to be heading up to Memphis for the night, Plus we'll have dinner there, probably do some sightseeing, and so on and so forth. But after we leave Memphis, we'll be heading straight back up to Fort Wayne, Indiana, so my brother can visit his girlfriend. Now, when I take him to go visit his girlfriend, I do not know for a fact if he's going to be planning on staying there for a whole week or just for the night. But either way, if he is going to be staying there for a week, I'll just drive home from Fort Wayne, Indiana. And if he is planning on just staying there for a day, we plan to go up the next day up into Michigan to visit the town of Hell that I have been to in September of 2023, because that is a place that I told him he would absolutely enjoy, because not only is it filled with spooky stuff, but also it's got like some Halloween themed decor, which I think he'll absolutely get a kick out of. Plus, he can say that he's been to Hell and back. And then from Hell, Michigan or Fort Wayne, Indiana, it's a straight shot back home. So yeah, 2,000 miles. I have no idea how many states. I'm guessing 10, but I think it's something like 12 cities and towns. But either way, if there's a car that I think can make the trip, it's this old Ford Taurus. I think it'll make it there just fine. However, since I last spoke to you guys about this car, some issues have come through. For one thing, the sun visor fell off as I was making my way back from Fort Wayne, so now if I were to drive into the sunrise, I'll be going at it completely blind, so sunglasses are a must. And the second problem is, I took this thing to a car wash after we came back from Fort Wayne, and it started leaking water all over the insides. So needless to say, I got the most pathetic shower out of it. So anyway, that concludes this short video from your one and only McElroy's Motors. If you liked it, feel free to smash that like button and subscribe for more content, and I'll have more videos coming along soon.